What's going on, guys? Welcome back to review and discussion for UnOrdinary. Guys, we have quite a bit to talk about, honestly. Well, not a bit to talk about today, but nonetheless, episode 303 is a really great fight, honestly. It's a really interesting fight. I wouldn't say as good as episode 302, but still pretty good nonetheless. There are a lot of really cool character moments in this episode. Now, continuing where episode 302 leaves off, we see the tail end where Blake and Ison get slashed by none other than Fury. Blake straight up has gashes in his torso and falls to the ground. Fury then adds insult to injury by stomping on his back while he's down. Now, while she does this, she looks at Ison and she compliments the two of them for being able to move out of the way of deadly hits. So she definitely was going for the kill, but the two of them were able to act just in the nick of time to avoid true lethal damage. So Ison then tries to figure out a way to get Blake away from her, and honestly, to Blake's credit here, he is clearly freaked out this time, but he's not frozen with fear like he was before when they encountered Vulcan. Like when he didn't initially help out Remy. This time, Ison is just like, shite, I gotta get Blake out of here as best as I gotta get Blake out of here. I have to do something. So he tries to create an opening by slamming the roof that they're on, and as it begins to crumble, to get Blake. Ultimately, he does fail and he does get caught by Fury. However, like I always say, I want to give props where props are due. Ison at least tried this time. So, Ison, good on you, my man. Now, Remy then sees that Fury does have Ison and Blake hostage. Kuyo then threatens ending Byron's life, though, bartering by telling Fury that a government operative with years of experience is far more valuable than two kids in order to get an exchange underway. Honestly, Kuyo's negotiating power, really awesome. Something that a king might have experience with? Who knows? But Fury demands that the phone be destroyed. Kuyo tells her, hey, this isn't part of the deal, like, watch it. But Remy immediately just grabs his phone, electrocutes it, and slams it to the ground. So, honestly, I'm not too sure who I agree with more. Because on the one hand, Kuyo is trying to get that information to the public. On the other hand, though, kids' lives are on the stake here. Blake and Ison's lives are on the stake here, and Remy's clearly not fucking around with trying to lose her friends. So honestly, I'm not really mad, and I'm not really siding with either side right now, especially since it does, as far as right now, it doesn't really lead to much. Kuyo doesn't tell Remy or say anything yet, but he just kind of lets it happen. So Remy destroys it. Fury lets Blake and Ison go by dropping them off the building that they're on. Ison manages to catch himself with his good arm that's not torn to shreds right now, and Remy rushes to catch Blake. But Kuyo immediately notices that Fury is about to attack her. She also has jumped off the building and is going straight for a slash at Remy. He then calls out to her X, just like he did Ray back then. As Remy catches Blake, though, she immediately notices that Fury and realizes that Fury is on top of her, and she shoves Blake out of the way onto the floor. She caught him. They're like a few feet off the ground, so he's not in danger of fall damage, I would say. But she tosses him out of her way and takes the hit herself. Some of you guys in the chat even pointed out she receives the same attack that Ray did, a horizontal slash along her torso. Sorry, a vertical slash along her torso. So it was really cool to see. Very nice touch, Uru. So Fury then goes to finish the job on Remy, but Kuyo steps in and blocks an attack for Remy to avoid her dying. Now, one thing I want to point out, he is currently at 7 swords summoned in this episode. Again, not knives, full-on swords, blades. 5 of which are freaking inside of Byron. It's great. It's awesome. So, As Fury sees Byron's condition, Kuyo offers that she let them go so that both sides can get medical attention. Fury initially declines, basically saying like, "Why? I can just kill you and get rid of the swords." And he just tells her like, "You could, but he's gonna bleed out before you get the chance to actually kill me." So she initially declines, but ultimately she agrees, kinda. She basically just says for them to get out of her sight. So round 2 against the authorities. It's another loss, but a much closer loss this time, obviously. It was really good. It was a really cool match to see, honestly. So, not mad about it. So, once they're away from Fury, Aizen bandages Remy and Blake with his sweater. Realizing the peril that they're in, he tells Kuyo that they need to get to a hospital, but Kuyo tells them no, they cannot go to a hospital. That's the last place they need to be, because the authorities will be at every nearby hospital, so they can't risk that. Aizen, understandably furious, yells at Kuyo that this happened because of him, because Kuyo got Remy and Blake back into vigilantism, and they'd given up on it, but they were dragged back because of Kuyo. Now, I do see Aizen's point in this. He is very emotional right now, and his friends are in much worse condition than they were before. So, yeah, I see his point, but it's not... I wouldn't say it's necessarily fair to say that Kuyo is the one who dragged them into this. Kuyo was clearly hesitant to let Remy and them in on this line of work, and all he really did was give Remy something that he believed Ray thought she would have had. Now, would Ray have approved of Remy being a superhero? Who's to say, honestly? But Kuyo wasn't giving her the book to try and get her to be a vigilante. He gave her the book because she felt it was Ray's, and she deserves to have it. So, there we go. And also, like I said, he was very hesitant to let Remy come tonight. And when she did, Remy was the one who asked Blake and Aizen if they would come if they were down for this. So, in all fairness to Kuyo, Remy is the one who dragged Blake and Aizen into this. And Remy clearly still hasn't forgotten or let go of Ray's death. Ultimately, I feel the responsibility for today ends up on her shoulders. That being said, could Kuyo have survived tonight without them? Probably not, honestly. But that's not the point. Like I said, I do feel the responsibility is on Remy for tonight. Am I going to hold this over Remy's shoulder? No, not this time. Because everything they did have a plan. They did check things a bit further. Remy, they did manage to take down an Ember operative, but when Remy saw that there was another one and that her friends' lives were at stake, Remy was doing everything she can to protect them. So honestly, I can't hold tonight against Remy. Now, Kuyo thinks on how they can get healed without a hospital after Blake has his little moment. And that's when he remembers what Caden said. And so, pretty cool. I think I'm really excited. He mentions, though, that he does not trust Caden right now, but he needs his help, and Caden can travel fast. So, he borrows Aizen's phone to call Caden, and when Caden answers, he tells him that he needs his help. It looks like the trio is getting reunited with Doc. Does this mean that the trio's gonna run into Sarah? Now that I think about it, is Sarah staying with Doc and Layla, or the other way around? We'll have to wait and see, honestly. Are we gonna see Sarah so soon? Who knows? Now, one thing I want to touch on before we end here: Kuyo's power level. Considering that way back when he couldn't touch Vulcan, but was able to briefly hold his own against Fury, I think it's fair to say that Kuyo is in fact a god tier at this point. Like I mentioned before, he was clearly toying with Liam, who is a 6.2, and he only needed one blade to do it. So I honestly think Kuyo's true potential is a 6.5 right now. So I think he is stronger than Arlo. We don't know for sure how the fight would have gone. We don't know for sure how the fight between him and Fury would have played out, since he was just trying to get them out as quickly as possible to focus to focus on on getting them medical support. But what we are able to see is that he was able to rush to Remy's side to block Fury's to Remy's side, and not only that, he was also able to block an attack from Fury. So I'm gonna say it. I think that Kuyo is around 6.5 in terms of level. So overall, this episode, pretty good, all things considered, honestly. So with that being said, I would say this episode right here, this episode is honestly a level 8. I know I didn't give a rating for episode 302 because I kind of wanted to leave the video off on that little cliffhanger with the end notes that I made there. But I would say episode 302 is an 8.5, and I would say this episode is a level 8, definitely. But yeah, let me know what you guys all think about the episode down below in the comments. And as always, we will be back tomorrow for episode 304. So Uru, thank you so much for a great episode. Congrats on 300 episodes also. And guys, as always, see you, Space Cowboy.